Circle, the company behind the USDC stablecoin, doubles valuation to $9 billion in an updated SPAC deal. Now, for those that might end up listening to this is basically a lot of crypto investors, a lot of crypto speculators, a lot of crypto bettors, right? A lot of crypto miners. It's like their form of basically like a bank account, right? A lot of people who invest into crypto coins, like in the crypto space, like to make big bets on like altcoins to make like 5x, 10x coins, like in terms of like returns, right, on these coins, to where they then put that money into something like USDC because it stays with the US dollar and they could easily just go from the USDC, like 1 USDC equals $1, right? So they turn all their profits into USDC and then allocate it to different things because it just makes it very simple. So it's going to be very interesting. Let's get right into the story. So Circle, the firm behind the stablecoin USDC, has doubled its valuation to $9 billion following a new deal with blank check company Concord Acquisition Corp. The two companies first revealed their plans to merge in July in a deal at the time valued Circle at just $4.5 billion dollars. They have now updated the terms of the deal to reflect improvements in the company's financial outlook and competitive position. Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire told CNBC's Crypto World that while the firm is ready to be listed as a public company, the process of getting the necessary approvals by the Securities and Exchange Commission had taken longer than planned. That's because in an earlier agreement, the firms were concerned they wouldn't merge in time for an April 3rd deadline. This new deal replaces the prior agreement and gives them more time to complete the combination. We have an SEC qualification process that we're going through, and we've been through multiple rounds of comments on that, and that's just taking longer, Allaire said. He added that the extra time is necessary to a new company and industry, and that if approved, Circle would be better off for it down the line. The SEC is doing its job, Allaire said. There's a lot of inherent risk in this space as a company that wants to be trusted, transparent, and accountable. Being a public company really helps with that, but also going through the rigor of SEC review is a key part of that. Circle may be twice as expensive for shareholders of Concord, the SPAC planning to take it public, but Laird said he sees it as a testament to what his company is building. He also said that although several SPAC or special purpose acquisition company mergers have been called off recently, he's confident this refreshed plan will go through. The agreement has an initial outside date of December 8th, with an option to extend to January 31st of next year, Allaire said. Stable coins are digital currencies designed to be less volatile than cryptocurrencies by pegging their market value to an outside asset like the US dollar. That makes them potential bridge currencies between volatile crypto assets and more stable traditional assets. Circle's stablecoin, USDC, has increased in reach and popularity over the past year. For example, MasterCard last summer said it's piloting a program that would utilize USDC to enable cryptocurrency payments between cardholders and merchants. However, stablecoins have come under pressure in recent months by U.S. regulators concerned about their ability to threaten financial stability by increasing the interconnectedness between the regulated financial system and the crypto markets. Earlier this week, New Jersey Rep. Josh Gottheimer unveiled an early draft of legislation aimed at placing definitions around stablecoins. And in November, the Biden administration urged Congress to regulate stablecoins to ensure they don't pose a systemic risk. Now, another way to actually like view this as well is that for those that don't know, the United States government has also been working on basically their very own digital currency, in the form of basically like a digital dollar, right? Now, one way to view this, right, is that what is stopping the United States government from just basically brokering a deal with one of these stablecoin companies and be like, hey, we will approve you if you get basically absorbed by the government so that we could basically regulate anything or do anything we want with you, but you will exist and you will be the only true digital version of the dollar, right? Because to me, it seems like that's probably going to be a more viable option for a true stable coin because it would actually be directly linked to the actual US dollar because they're actually digital dollars. And the government will end up basically having complete access to all the data, all the transactions, all that sort of stuff free and clear if they absorb one of these companies. To me, that makes the most sense. But also, it might be good for like the common person, but a lot of people who get into the crypto space probably don't really trust the government too much. So they probably wouldn't be using USDC all that much if it were to get absorbed, let's say, by the government, right? Or any other stablecoin if they were to get absorbed by the government. Because the reality of the situation is that the United States government is going to do everything it can to prevent destruction of their financial system. So, if there's any sort of threat to where people are going to prefer to use some other avenue in terms of putting their money than the US dollar, and if we end up getting to the point where the US government no longer has really the oil money, right? Because technically speaking, the only reason why the US dollar can be printed to disturbing amounts and still actually be worth something is because it's backed by, Saudi Arabia's oil and so on and so on and so on, right? Which is also why we always tend to go to war and all that kind of stuff. Because our dollars are basically backed by oil. So, if we end up getting rid of that at some point, the dollar ends up becoming worthless. These digital coins end up becoming worthless because they're backed on a worthless currency. So, what happens, right? So, you just got to really understand that the United States government is going to do everything they can to protect the best interest of the United States government. So, it'd be kind of interesting to see what actually ends up happening. I think overall, this is a good sign for USDC. They're probably going to get more people to actually use it. Not to mention, they'll have more money to actually securely back any sort of financial transactions or holdings that people might have, right? Because a lot of people were probably questionable. Like a lot of people kind of like viewed USDC in like somewhat of a questionable viewpoint because they really didn't know how much money was really backing it. Like they really didn't know too much about the financial details behind USDC. But now they have a little bit clearer picture, and now they know, like, oh, wait a minute, this company is growing bigger and bigger. They're going to actually have more and more access to cash, right? A blank check, right? To be able to secure the transactions of their users, their holders, all that sort of stuff. So I think it'd be pretty interesting. If you want to learn how to get out of debt, go to 40bucks.com.